Okay, I'm going to try doing this again. Found a mistake in my own work. Anyway, which equals -4? Okay, well, let's look at some of our choices. Absolute value always comes out positive because it's talking about distance from 0, so that can't be the right answer. When you have parentheses, the square applies to everything in it, so this would be -2 times -2. Negative times negative becomes positive, so that can't be it. And of course, absolute value is always positive, so it has to be this one. Why? Well, the exponent 2 only applies to the number. Okay, so you keep the negative. So 2 times 2 is -4, so that's our correct choice. Okay, when you have a negative exponent, 5 to the -2 power, that does not mean a negative value. That symbol can also mean opposite of. So in this case, with exponents, it's the opposite of 5 squared. What's the opposite of 5 squared? It's 1 over 5 squared. So 5 times 5 is 25. So this would be your correct choice. Okay, the next one. I had to cover up my mistake. I rushed this thing. Okay, it was 15 over 30. So 15 divided by 15 is 1. 30 divided by 15 is 2. Okay, so then your A's. Well, to reduce those, remember when you're dividing, it would be this exponent minus this exponent. A to the 3 minus 1, which would be A to the 2. Okay, in this case, we could do b to the 3 minus 4, which would end up being b to the -1. And remember, a -1 can be brought down as your denominator because that negative means opposite, brought down here, and it ends up being a squared divided by 2b to the 1st. Okay, so that one's right. Alrighty, write in standard notation 4.63 times 6 to the 6th. So, that to be turned back to standard notation, I just wrote my number, 463, without the decimal, and then I started my 6 decimal moves. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm filling the extra moves in with zeros. So bottom line is it turns out to be 4,630,000. Okay, write in standard notation. Okay, we had 3.2 times 10 to the -3. So again, I wrote my 32, then I started my 3 moves. 1, 2, 3. I kind of did little sloppy moves here. But anyway, I filled in with zeros. So it's 0.0032. Okay, next one. Simplify 54 divided by 63. I figured out a factor that goes into both numbers. And so 54 divided by 9 is 6, 63 divided by 9 is 7. Okay, this one. This would be -2 times -2 times -2, as I showed right here, which negative becomes positive, times a negative remains negative. Same thing for this one. And then a negative times a negative, -8 times -8 becomes a positive 64. All right, the next one. Okay, when you have a positive exponent with a negative inside parentheses, you know that's going to come out positive. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So I put the 16 here. -2 times -2 becomes positive 4. 16 times 4 is 64, and that's positive. Okay, simplify. The way to handle this one, you take your numbers and multiply them. 4 times 2 is 8. And then you would add your exponents when you're multiplying. So this is a to the 1st. 1 plus 4 is 5. A to the 5th. 8, a to the 5th. Okay, let's look at the other side. Okay, this is a to the 3rd b times a squared b. So That would be a to the 3 plus 2 times b to the 1 plus 1. A to the 5th, b squared is your answer. This is 3 to the 6th divided by 3 to the 3rd. That would be 3 to the 6th minus 3, which is 3 to the 3rd. Okay, f squared divided by f cubed is f to the 2 minus 3, which is f to the negative 1. And remember, that is actually opposite of f to the first, and opposite would be 1 divided by f. Okay, and it becomes positive here. All right, simplify. 3b squared divided by 27b to the 5th. So I divided 3 by 3, I got 1. I divided 27 by 3, and I got 9. 9 times 3 is 27. All right, b squared over b to the 5th would be b to the 2 minus 5, which is b to the negative 3. And remember, if you bring your negative down, it becomes positive. Okay, so 1 divided by 1 divided by 9 times b to the 3rd. Okay. I didn't realize when I wrote on the other side with my red marker I was going to ruin this side. It says write in simplest form, 9 divided by 63. So it just means simplify this fraction. 9 divided by 63. So I would reduce by the factor of 9, and 9 divided by 9 is 1, 63 divided by 9 is 7. Okay, if the number, is the number prime or composite is what this one says for 15. Is the number prime or composite? What's the number? It's 21. Well, that's composite because it has two factors. 7 times 3 is 21. So it's composite. Simplify negative 4 to the 3rd. Well, remember, when there's no parentheses, you keep your negative always. So 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. Okay, this one has parentheses. So this would be negative 3 times negative 3, which becomes positive. Positive 9. Positive 9 times 2 times 2 is 4. 9 times 4 is 36. Okay, simplify. 3 times 4 is 12, and that is getting squared. So squared of 12 is 12 times 12, and you would find that that is 144 minus 4, so that would be 140. Okay, our next one. A is equal to 2, B is equal to negative 4. So we're supposed to evaluate A divided by B. So A is 2, I plugged in my 2. B is negative 4, plugged it in. Okay, and then I reduced it. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and I kept my negative. It's negative 1/2. Next, we're going to simplify 3a to the 3rd, and that's in parentheses, to the 4th power. So when you have parentheses and you have a variable inside with a power, then that gets multiplied by the variable outside the parenthesis. Okay, so this would be 3 to the 4th, which is 81. When you multiply it out, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, that would come out to 81. And then a to the 3 times 4 would be a to the 12th. 81, a to the 12th. Okay, next we have 2x to the negative 2 power in parentheses squared. Okay, so I'm going to square the number. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, remember this means opposite. So I could actually make this 1 over x to the positive 2 power. And when I square it, it would be x to the 2 times 2. So it would be 4 to the divided by x to the 4th, or you could write it 4 times x to the negative 4. Either way. Okay? Now, we've got just a couple more. write in standard notation. So we have 3.4 times 10 to the negative 3. Okay, so what I do is I write my 34 without the decimal, but I start right here with my counts. 1, 2, 3 decimal moves, and then I fill in with zeros, and it's 0.0034. Write in scientific notation, this would be 643 billion, and so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 decimal moves, so 6.43 times 10 to the 11th. This is 54 million, and so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 decimal moves, 5.4 times 10 to the 7th. Okay, and last, write in scientific notation. I have 0.00024, and I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4 times to make it 2.4 times 10 to the negative 4. Okay, this one would be 2 decimal moves, so that one would be 4.372 times 10 to the negative 2 to make it in scientific notation. Okay, hopefully you're ready for your test, and that's all. Thanks.